I want to start this video by saying that I was never a religious person. In fact, for most of my life, I was a hardcore atheist. I quickly came to the conclusion that there is no possibility that this reality is the only one. Logic and science convinced me that there is much more to our existence than we were told to believe. It turned out I was right, and I got my answers when I discovered magic mushrooms. I will tell you now my story of interdimensional meeting with what we call God, Creator, or the Energy. If you enjoy watching my videos, please read the video description for updates, and please consider supporting the 434 plan through Patreon, PayPal, or Subscribestar. All links in the video description. Please join all of my social media. The first time I asked about God, I was taken to a sunny, spacious house in a modern, futuristic estate. God was a bearded older gentleman wearing jeans and a shirt, and he looked like Richard Branson. We sat down in comfortable armchairs, and he told me that he is actually a manager of this reality. He was very relaxed and chilled out. He struck me as someone who has absolutely everything under control, and he told me he doesn't really get engaged much in what is happening here. It seemed his job was overseeing that there are no major disturbances in this dimension, and it felt like talking to a working from home high-level decision maker rather than a powerful spiritual entity. When I was there, I noticed that there is something much bigger and profound in the background behind the estate, like a whole new dimension, and that I was just in its guest house. It felt like I was being given just a small taste or an introduction of what it really is. I enjoyed my chat with God, I said thank you, and then I left. It was interesting, but it was not a profound experience I was expecting. The second time I met what we call God by accident, and it was the most intense and significant experience out of all of my interdimensional encounters. It was also the strangest one of them, and I will tell you why. Remember that I'm describing this with human language, which is not complex enough to give you all the levels of information. I asked the machine elf entities I talk to usually, "Who are you?" And they said, "Lay down, we'll tell you." I did, and they asked, "Are you ready for this?" And I said, "Yes." And then they switched off my consciousness. It was the only time this has ever happened to me. I wasn't there anymore. What happened to me is explained in my ego death video. Watch it if you would like to know what it feels like. Then on the horizon I saw a massive wave of energy, and then I started seeing and feeling a presence of something as big as the whole dimension. It is indescribable. You just knew and felt how massive it was. It was not an entity, but an all-encompassing energy, and I heard them say, "We will show you now who we are." And they showed me our whole world as it really is, made of the energy. All emotions, love, sex, matter, everything is a simulation made out of this energy. They show me this energy as a colorful rainbow-like river as it flows through everything. They showed me the process of how everything is created with the energy, how every religion tries to describe this process. And that's when I said, "Is this God?" Which they were amused by, and they said, "Yes, you humans call it God. You call it many names. You are it. You are made of it. You are a part of it." They showed me how all religions from ancient times try to convey the message of love, how this energy flows everywhere, how we're surrounded by it, and how we and they are made of it, and that you will feel it only when you open up to it. Unfortunately, most of us are closed to it. They showed me how you open up to it through the moments of awe, love, happiness, fulfillment, higher vibrational frequency. They told me that this river is what I call 434 and what others call God, Ki, Chi, Kundalini, primal energy, and so on. I was shown that God equals energy and that energy equals 434. And if you were to replace the definition of 434 river with the word God, you would get God's true definition. Here it is. 434 is a key to the knowledge about how you're supposed to live your life. Everyone here is on the same journey, the journey of love. 434 is here to raise your vibrational frequency, to be happy, and to improve the flow of information from the outside world. 434 is a filter you apply to everything new you want to learn in life. It will help you to get the answers. 434 is a reminder that you're surrounded by other lives and that empathy is the key to connecting with others. 434 is an emotional state of mind that you need to be in as much as possible. Everything is made of 434, and 434 flows through everything. Don't block it, let it flow through. Be 434. Now go back to this definition and replace 434 with the word God and see what they meant. Here are more messages I received from the entities about God. Being in this life allows you to assess your loving abilities and learn to love others while being cut off from the love from the Creator. This is to make you more like the Creator and their energy. This is to make you capable of generating love on your own and sending it throughout different places in the universe. The Creator sometimes takes the form of children because that's the easiest way to initiate and communicate love. The entities explain why it is so important to be in that elevated state and having the purpose in life and doing what you love, because then you're close to the energy river. They said psychedelics are a shortcut to contact with the energy. They unblock you and they allow the energy to flow freely through you, and then you have contact with the Creator. What you experience are not psychedelics but connection with the Creator. This omnipresent energy that created us and everything around us flows freely through us in psychedelic states. It shows up in our lives with love, sex, and all other moments of awe and bliss. You need to be in this colorful river of life and God, or at least as close to it as possible. The methods you use to achieve this state are irrelevant as long as it is not destructive to anyone and anything. You just need to feel it. You need to be in this state for as long as possible. It always flows through life and us. They said it is all a simulation created by the energy, and I saw this when meditating once about 10 years ago, long before I had any experience with psychedelics. This was after deep and long meditation at night when suddenly my whole room turned into energy and I couldn't understand what happened, and also I couldn't switch it off for a few seconds. That was terrifying. As a summary, here's my personal interpretation of the idea of God, energy, or the Creator, based on what the machine else showed me. The way I see it is that we all got the religion idea wrong. There is no division, there is no ideological separation. The idea of God is too great to argue about. It is all semantics. There is one God, one energy, one Creator. We label it differently, but remember why we have religions in the first place. It is because we're all on the same page. We all believe in the same force that is behind everything that exists. Whether we call it Jesus, Allah, Buddha, or 434, we all believe in the same principle of human conduct. If you believe in God, you believe in love, respect, peace, generosity, freedom, heaven within, and forgiveness. We all believe in one God, and its name is love. Thank you, and may the energy flow freely through you. Love, 434.